Okay, welcome to today's ODTN use case team call. Thanks for joining. As usual, this call is recorded and will be shared on YouTube. I think I have to upload a couple past ones. It's my bad. Probably I've missed a few. I'll just take an action item and upload them in the next day or so. So as you may have noticed, the call has been moved to 8 p.m. 8 a.m. Standard European time, Pacific Standard Time, and 5 p.m. Central European Time on Monday instead of Tuesday to avoid conflicts with many other calls that were happening at the same time. And usually Monday is a pretty slower day, so I just decided to move here. A very good announcement that I have to make today is that we have finalized the Stratum on Cassini integration, and it was supposed to be showcased at OCP, as you guys know, but you guys can see a first version of the drivers here in this particular link. They're on GitHub and currently not merged in the ONOS master branch. That's because he needs to just clean them up a little bit and push them up to Gerrit for review. But as you guys can see here, we have a GNMI-based implementation of all the possible behaviors that we need for a transceiver transponder. So we have the discovery, the flow programmable, the modulation configuration, the device discovery, and the power configuration. In particular, we are using these ones, these four, that have a combined usage of P4 program and the optical capabilities. So the idea of the demo was really this slide here. And I'm not going to dive too deep, too much into it today, because there is a webinar tomorrow, and I'll talk more about that later. So the idea of demo was really to have the Cassinis as the spines of a leaf spine topology, as you can see here, the green ones to here and to here, and connect them back to back, and allow basically Trellis and ONOS to control them as if they were spines, just plain layer 2, layer 3 spines for the internal to the data center connectivity, while data center to data center, we were using the ODTN applications for a seamless integration of the setup of the connectivity from these two data centers. So this is the demo topology. You can see each one of these racks is actually a data center, and you can see the four Cassinis to here and to here. This is really, really good. I think it was a very interesting demo. It was made in collaboration with a good set of people within the community. And I really do encourage everybody that is interested in this to participate in the webinar that is going to be held in these two time zones. I would suggest the one that is tomorrow at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Central European Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. And you can see the registration link is here, and it's just will just bring you to this registration page. Just sign up, and you will get a notification. And the idea is that in this webinar, we'll showcase the full length of the demo that we will later also probably upload to our various platforms, YouTube and whatnot. And it's going to showcase the whole end-to-end set of the Stratum new capabilities with Cassini, but also the work that we are doing within the SIBA reference design for access in within our platforms. So I think this is a really good webinar that showcases a lot of the technologies that ONF is working on, and pairs well with the ones we have done in the past weeks around the 5G LTE space and RAN. So if you guys are interested, please do sign up. I've put the link here, and I can also copy the link in the chat for anybody who is interested in doing so. If you guys want, please do take a look at this. And again, we will completely give an overview of what's going on within this demo that we have created, and the next steps, and all of that. The very interesting thing is that all of this is open source. Stratum is open source too. Any questions before I proceed forward? Okay. If not, I know Jan was at OFC, and there was the demo was running for the 3 days at the booth that he had to showcase the capabilities of the integration of ONOS plus GMPY, just for those who. And the feedback I got from him was that the demo was running, everything was working as expected, with positivities, but also the drawbacks we know, and that there was interest. I think I'm still waiting for him to get back to us on what exactly is going on, and it's probably going to be a fairly difficult way home for him because of the coronavirus situation, but I think it went well, and he will update us as soon as he can. Last week, we also discussed with Jan and the others a little bit of an issue that stemmed out of this first integration of ONOS with GMPY, which is the modeling of the devices. I think the action point here was really for Jan to take a look at what's currently there and make up a proposal for the integration being either in GMPY itself or in ONOS. And the idea is that we will probably strive and use some existing models, most likely the IETF topology, because that's what the GMPY team is currently like honing on and focusing on as their standard for the topology. Any questions, thoughts? No? Okay. Yeah, I think that for that discussion we will.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Dominique.
Speaking. Yes, concerning the modeling, the device models into ONOS in order to accommodate the GNPY models. Do you think that, because as far as I understand from your feedback here, GNPY is going to integrate the IETF RFC, I guess 8345, with the different optical impairment, optical impairment aware parameters inside the network topology. So I'm wondering how GNPY and ONOS data store, especially, are going to be aligned or going to be merged, or at least to be synchronized. This is maybe the question I would have, and I think if GNPY is going forward towards IETF network topology models, I think it's a good opportunity for ONOS to move in this way too.
So yeah, I think it is, and the idea is that we would have to be translating some some things. At the moment, we're doing it with the proprietary REST APIs. We will be doing it through the ITF topology model. And Karthik, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also think that TAP is for converging to the same ITF model for the topology, right?
Yes, Karthik can comment better than me on that. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So yes and no. So the intent was, like, say, 6 months ago, we started doing that work, but some of the TAPI stakeholders, like some service providers, they preferred that we wait off on doing something like that because they are working towards applying TAPI into production level systems, and they felt that it would be like causing a lot of confusion if we keep releasing TAPI versions which are not backward compatible. Right. So right now in TAPI, the short-term focus, I mean, I'm not saying it's abundant, but the short-term focus is more like documentations and bug fixes and actually making it production ready.
Okay.
So it was actually a decision of the TAPI team because we want to switch a bit from, I would say, R&D kind of working mode, which we are doing in the last few years, to more like mature, towards more maturity, towards more deployments. And so, but again, this is just because of the current interest, right? But that's why I came into this meeting, because I have not been joining this meeting for a while. If there is a strong, I would say, need, then we have to have parallel branches and work on both, like I would say what we are calling now TAPI Edge and TAPI production, like stable releases.
Oh, that is a very good question. Actually, that would be my suggestion. At least the way we have done it in ONF with other things is that we have what we have cut an LTS release, which is what we call a long-term support release. Think about ONOS, for example. The 2.2 release is an LTS release. On that release, we make nothing that breaks backwards compatibility. We merge nothing that breaks backwards compatibility. We merge nothing that is not bug fixes. We don't merge big features. We just keep it there to support production. And that is precisely what you described on as the work that you are doing right now. We increase documentation, we increase testing, we increase bug fixing, and that is the bulk of the work. Then we also always have the master branch where we do kind of forward new features, new ideas, anything that comes in that is not going to go into an LTS release because it's not needed there, we just do it on the master branch. And eventually the master branch will become another LTS release at some point. But the way we have done it is basically we have an LTS release every 2 or 3. So that would be my suggestion to you guys, is to definitely get it into production with an LTS release, but don't stop the forward thinking set of operations and set of work, but do it on a master branch.
Right. So that was the idea. But right now, like you said, the people more involved in TAPI are focused on now rather than future. And it's become more of a political thing. That's why that from the operators, their complaint was if people see advanced releases, they get confused and then they're not able to convince their vendors to implement the current TAPI because they can always see something is coming and they would like to wait for that. So it's become more of a political, I would say, decisions rather than technical.
Yeah, no,
I hope you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I completely see the point, Karthik. I completely see the point.
And this was more to do with the ITF alignment, right? Because ITF alignment, that RFC will break all backward compatibility of TAPI completely. And the complaint from the operators was like, okay, if you're doing that, then our vendors will say, let's wait for it. And they'll not implement what is there. Yeah. So anyway, but the idea is not to abandon it, but at least next 3 months, we're just focusing on short term, and then we'll get back in summer to the TAPI Edge, which is ITF topology alignment. But that is based on who was involved in TAPI of late. But again, if you can come join and say like, okay, from ODTN we would like to see this work, then there is a good, I would say, push to do this work in parallel.
Yeah, no. Oh, okay, that would be. Yeah, I could definitely argue for that. I think I will need to come up with a proper proposal with Jan too, in accordance to make sure that what we do is also in accordance with the work within GMPY. But I do perfectly agree with your point. I think that working on right now on the master and LTS release the LTS release to bring it into production is the right way to go, because the project needs to go into production, not just be there sitting doing something. That is key. So
in TAPI we made slightly different decision. Our master is going to be we don't call it master, but our main branch is still going to be the stable one, and then we call it TAPI Edge, which is kind of slightly different from, kind of opposite of what ONOS. So the stable branch is the main branch, and the TAPI Edge is like the branch which has to be merged into this.
Oh yeah,
it kind of is weird, but that sort of reflects the realities where we are trying right now, is to make sure like it gets into some real deployments, and then it gets a more stronger traction.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
because it was always being viewed as a research R&D kind of effort, and we are trying to overcome that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Kartik. So and also I think that the work from the GMPY team for the topology there, it will take a little bit of time also for them to implement. So I don't think there is so much of a rush right now to make sure that this comes into TAPI like today. So I think that it's okay that also the time frame that you highlighted with the 3 months on LTS and then in the next steps in the summer, that's perfectly fine by me. I think that I think that you sharing the fact that the TAPI right now also already discussed and started some work around ITF topology makes me more at ease that we are actually converging towards a similar model.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, it was not technical decision, but more political.
But,
so the work is done. We're just holding off. Go ahead.
Because also it triggers me also how you see a GNPY integration into ONOS. In fact, do you see GNPY as, I should say, a module that is using an interface, a REST interface, but maybe we can base this interface with the network topology service model that TAPI is enriching and is consolidating, and to have that maybe help to really I should say to associate that with TAPI and the experiments that we can do based on TAPI testing or so on. But I don't know exactly how the GNPY community is in fact integrating this ITF network topology models. In fact, this is also a question how you will how the architecture, the software architecture of ONOS and GNPY will be associated or merge or so. I don't have a clear visibility on that, and it might be a question that we may answer or define all together. The people that are working on the integration of GNPY into ONOS.
I think that's more for Andrea, right? This question or your statement.
Yes. But yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So the way I see it is the way we have done it at the moment, meaning a one-to-one relationship between the two that are kind of at the same level, meaning the ONOS reaches out, gets some data back, and uses that data. So the architecture is really that ONOS is the client of a server that sits on GMPY. Is there, like, this is the way I see it. I'm not opposed to changing my idea if somebody has a better proposal. And this way, ONOS is the master of the topology. Although, given the current situation, we push the topology to two things. Ideally, ONOS should be the one pushing the topology to GMPY, but that's gonna come a lot down the line. That requires a lot of work that at the moment we don't have the capabilities to do. So my suggestion would be to keep it as is right now, meaning that they are peers, where ONOS asks something based on the ITF topology, gets something back based on the ITF topology, and just uses it. Would that make sense?
In fact, I think you pointed your remarks. In fact, let me think that you pointed what needs to be what can be done first. It's true that I agree with you that ONOS should be a client of GNPY as a server in order to check path feasibility, in order to provide the parameters to GNPY as a server in order to verify the feasibility on optical path. And ONOS should be the master of the network topology updates and gathering all these things. The point is maybe we should organize the work in order to consolidate a network topology inside ONOS. And I think maybe this is the things that I agree. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, maybe, but maybe this is where we should. It should be.
So, if I understand correctly, what you're saying, Dominique, you're suggesting that we should consolidate the existing topology model of ONOS to be more in accordance with the ITF topology model. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
So I do agree.
Because I think, just to finish, I think it will be useful for GNPY. It will be useful if TAPI, because TAPI is moving also toward this direction, even according to what Kartik just said. So yes, I think it is important to consolidate this, I should say, network model for the data stores, and after that, other application can really not only GNPY but also other application can really use, and considering that ONOS is a master to update the network topologies, the configuration of the device, etc., etc.
Yeah, no, totally agreed. And I think that we already had that with the TAPI information that we use right now, meaning we do already expose a TAPI topology. What we would need to do is then rework what we have right now to expose the augmented the TAPI topology with the ITF model, and probably restructure internally to make it easier to consume, I would say. Would that make sense?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll work with Jan to come up with a proposal and see. It's always, this has been it's a little difficult because we both work on many different things, and finding the time is not the easiest way, the easiest thing to do. But we'll try our best, and we will make sure that there is a proposal for this, and we get it out, and we make sure that everybody reads it, and it's kind of an agreed thing and everything. Okay. Anything else on this? Okay, then if not, I would like to go next to the next step and the TAPI interoperability testing. Dominique, do you have any more information about this regarding the timeline, the use cases, and all of that?
Yes, what I got from the OIF, I should say, leaders that are in fact Jonathan Sadler from Infinera. There is also Nokia Dev Brand, and there is also Lyndon Hong also, that they are going to contact you in order to to define precisely these timelines and what can be done. Yeah, contact ONF, and maybe probably you will be aware sooner or later on that. Yeah. So I don't have the details of the TAPI use case. I don't know, Kartik maybe have some feedbacks, but there are a list of use cases that are under progress and being discussed for especially connectivity service implementation and deployment on the network. Yeah. So I don't have the details. How the in fact the SDN controller is going to be I should say involved and so on. Sorry, Kartik.
Yeah, I can add a bit of it. So I think the first question was timeline. So I believe, like, see, now a lot of things are in flux with all this coronavirus situations now. But original idea was to get a sort of NDA contract, or at least commitment by end of this month. Not contract, but at least commitment of who is going to be participating, which labs, and then start working towards having an interoperability test in summer, the actual test, which will be over a couple of months, with a goal towards doing the marketing and readout and results in the conferences in November timeframe, right? So that was the original, I mean, that is actually even, I would say, current agenda, but I mean, current timeline, which might change or might not hold, I don't know. Second thing is, the TAPI use cases are still being worked, and it's not ready, but it will involve, like Dominic said, like connectivity setup, resilience, maybe some OEM features, notifications, alarms, and things like that. Right. So, and exact setup yet, it's mostly still going to be L1 or ODUs, but I think this time we could, I mean, there's always depending on, once the commitment is firm, it really depends on the participants who say what they want to do, right? Whether they want to do like more, like say, disaggregated optical, for example, or L0. It really depends on who is committed and what use cases they want to test. Right. So right now, I would say it's under discussion still. And there are weekly meetings on Thursdays, I believe. Thursdays,
yes.
9 a.m. US Eastern. 9 or 10, I think, 10 a.m. US Eastern. And probably if Jonathan contacts you, he'll give you all the details. Because again, I have been having conflicts. I have not been able to join that call regularly. But Lyndon, you can even reach out to Lyndon, because Lyndon is the one like who has overlaps between both ONF and OIF.
Okay.
Also, like Jonathan Sadler, like from Infinera, who is leading the OIF effort, is also active in TAPI. So there is a lot of overlap of people, but I suspect like the focus still is going to be more on looking at maturing TAPI as opposed to testing edge features. But again, that really depends on participants. But this is my suspicion.
Okay, thanks.
But I think it'll be really good if we can get ODTN involved.
So
as a stakeholder.
Just to be very clear.
And just to confirm, just to underline what Kartik said, I think it will be really great, especially if we have some requirement from network operator that can be effectively demonstrated through this TAPI interop testing at OIF.
So just to be very honest with everybody, I have zero time to work on this, like none. So that is my issue, and the issue of, I think, everybody, which is I could actually say, yeah, this looks very much interesting and I'd love to get ONOS into this, but then I look at the set of features and ONOS currently supports maybe 3 out of the ones you guys just said. Just like if I read out of this, that's probably like we support connectivity setup, sure, a certain subset of capability setup, and we support the topology. Does it make sense for us to show up with these capabilities? Probably not. That is my concern. So I'd love to get all the feedback and interest and all of that from everybody who just wants to give me information about this and then make a decision. But I'm just going to be honest right now. It's going to be hard for us to participate because we just currently have those small set of capabilities and really nobody working on them. So I just being very honest here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes makes sense. Well, until you get more committed contributors towards this effort.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard for you to cover for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is understood, Andrea. Yes. Okay.
And I do believe that having it converging the ITF and TAPI model, having it in GenPY, and doing other things and putting into production with operators will bring also work here for us to participate in these things. But at the moment, the amount of participation and effort that I can put in here is close to nil. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's just to be very fairly clear to that. Okay, anything else on this? Okay, then if not, I think this document has been shared and discussed in other places too. It's what Telefonica would like as a set of capabilities from TAPI and a TAPI-based controller for it to be implemented in their optical layer. Just for anybody who has not seen it, please do take a look and provide any feedback. And here it kind of poses the same issue as before. I'd love to do it. There's many things there that make complete sense to implement on ONOS, but at the moment we don't really have the capability to the set of people to work on this. So that's kind of where we are. Okay. Any questions, comments? No?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it, but I'll probably look at it because Telefonica is one of the drivers of TAPI. I would like to see what they are expecting from here.
Yeah. Please do take a look. This was sent to me by Victor Lopez. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to him also.
Yeah, let me look at that. Yeah.
Put him in CC, but put me in CC, but feel free to reach out to Victor. This is what he clearly stated as Telefonica interest for TAPI in production, meaning that they would consider putting something in production that is based on TAPI only if it supports these set of capabilities. And as always, it can be discussed and it can be like obviously defined better and maybe reevaluated in some sense if some things are not terribly aligned with others, or obviously there will be a priority list and everything like that. But this is kind of what Telefonica would like to see happen. And it's kind of the same effort that they did for OpenConfig. Here they're doing it for TAPI to make sure that is properly supported in the production deployments that they're going to put down in their line. So yeah, feel free to take a look. And if you have any questions, send them out to me, or most likely to Victor Lopez. It's probably going to be better. Okay. Driver consolidation is still going on. There's been obviously among the coronavirus, there was OCP where I wanted to discuss with a few people about this, but that got cancelled. So cannot really give you an estimation of timeline at the moment about the work that's going on over there. Any questions, thoughts? Anybody wants to bring something up to the group? No? Okay. If not, please do consider registering for the webinar that is going to be held tomorrow. It's going to showcase many different things of ONF, among which the Cassini extension and integration into ODTN based on SATM. So please do take a look, and Zoom registration link is there as always. I put it also in the chat for anybody who wants to take it there. And if so, I'll see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Andrea. All. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.